everybody out there in math land. I know it's been a while since I've made a video, so I wanted to start 2020 with showing you how to compare fractions. Now the kids started learning this before the break, and we did a quick review today so we can get back on our math brains. When comparing fractions, one of the easiest ways we know how is to do something called the butterfly method. You might know it as cross multiplication. So for example, if I have 1/2 and I am comparing it to 3/8, what I have to do is think of these two numbers diagonally. That's like a butterfly wing. 2 times 3, that is 6. And then I do the other side. 8 times 1 is 8. And I see that 8 is greater than 6. So that's the symbol that goes right there. It's very important that you always write the answer on the top, not on the bottoms of the wings. If not, your symbol will actually be flipped. So the other thing I want to talk about today is how we compare when we have more than 2 fractions, okay? I taught the children that you can think of fractions as existing always in one of 3 categories. A fraction is either going to be equal to 1/2, is going to be less than 1/2, or it's going to be greater than 1/2. The children and I put together a list of those fractions. For example, you have 2/4, or you have 4/8, or 5/10. That's just to give you some examples. All of these fractions equal 1/2 because the numerator is exactly half of the number on the denominator. Now to make a fraction that is less than 1/2, all you have to do is give me a number in the numerator that is less than half of it. So for example, 1/4 would be less than this half. 3/8 would be less than this half. 4/10 would be less than that half. In order to make a greater than 1/2 number, you do the opposite. You do one more than half of that number. So for 2/4 could be 3/4, for 4/8 could be 5/8, and for 5/10 it could be 6/10. When I think of numbers in these 3 categories, it's easy for me to classify and order more than 2 fractions. I had a problem in my work today where they had to compare the weights of a moose, an elk, and a bear. So you had to put 4/5, 1/3, and 3/8 in order from least to greatest. In order to do that, I had the students think about the following. If the moose is 4/5, that fraction is greater than 1/2. An elk was 1/3, and that fraction is less than 1/2. And then I have a bear at 3/8, which is also less than 1/2. So right now, right off the bat, I know which one is my heaviest animal. That would be my moose. So my moose would be in the last position. Now I need to find out what the other 2 are. So what I do is compare these 2 fractions to each other. 1/3 and 3/8. 3 times 3 is 9 for this butterfly wing, and 8 times 1 is 8, meaning that 3/8 is larger than this one. That would mean that my bear would be in the middle, and my elk would be my smallest one. And that's how you compare fractions. Thank you.